Tech back with another one. I know I told y'all I'm gonna do one upload a week, but what can I say? You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. I gotta get y'all 2 uploads. Now I'm gonna start by debulking with my 3 guard, I believe, and I'm just trying to get all that hair off so I can make room for my guidelines. I like to debulk before I put my guidelines in, so I'm gonna finish this up and then I'm gonna come back when I start. Now I'm gonna set my ball guideline in with my detachable blade. This is Super ZR2. I have a 5/0 blade on it, and if you know, you know, right? Like most people use their trimmers, I use this blade because it gets it going in one swipe. Like I don't have to keep going over it as I would with a trimmer. Like I mean, if you have a really good trimmer and they're super sharp, it'll go through it. But you can see here, like it really mows through the hair. And I like it because I can just blend right into it with my clipper. I never have to go back and use my trimmer to, you know, detail or whatever. Sometimes I'll do it anyways just because, but I don't really have to do that. Like it gets it down to the skin. I rarely ever have to use my shaver, and like I said, if you know, you know, these things are 100% fire. Now I'm gonna go in with my Snap FX lever open to make my guideline. I typically make my guidelines about a finger width each, and I do that to keep my fade balanced and spread out just enough. And I know beginner barbers sometimes, even I had this problem, I would make really small guidelines, keep them compressed together. You're not going to have a gradient fade by doing that, right? You have to spread your guidelines out. There's only one person I know that does really compressed fades and they come out looking nice, and I promise you that's probably not you unless you practice it consistently. So make sure you guys are spreading your guidelines out, and even if you have to, put your finger there just to make sure that it's, you know, wide enough, because if not, you'll have a really choppy fade, right? We all understand what a choppy fade looks like. But after I set that in, I'm just gonna go in and start to take this line out. I fade down when I take my guidelines out. Like I'll start lever open, then I'll switch to halfway and then fully close. Sometimes I'll go in there with the 3/4 notch or the 1/4 notch just to really get in there and how can I say, just to get in there and make sure that it's detailed and clean. And a lot of people go through their steps and, you know, detail it after they do their steps. I just do it right then and there because I've had multiple times where, you know, I went through my fade, I detailed it at the end, and then my client gets up and I see something and I'm like, man, you know, he's already walked out. And then as barbers and perfectionists, you know, you'll go back and look at that picture at home later and you feel horrible when you see that, you know, that one little thing that just ruined the whole fade. And it may not be big to the client, or, you know, they probably don't even see it, but it may not be big to others and to the client, but it's big to you, right? We all understand that feeling. It's a horrible feeling. So I typically detail my fade while I'm doing it, and it may take a little longer, but I typically, you know, I can do a haircut in 30 minutes and I can do a haircut in an hour, right? You all need to know who's on your schedule and, you know, who you can go quick with and who not. But that's why I detail it while I'm there, so I can make sure, you know, I got all those little spots. Now, I know I said earlier you don't have to go in with the trimmers, which you don't. You can see, you know, the back of the fade is perfectly fine. Like I said, I go in for detail and to get it a little, you know, cleaner at the bottom of it. And his hair, I had to use it because his hair is wavy and it leaves dark spots, right? Like you can see those little dark spots that I'm plucking out right there, right? Specifically at the bottom. And that can just disrupt your fade, right? That's why I use the trimmer to go in there. And then I go back again with my clipper. I go back again with my clipper to detail it some more and make sure everything is fluid and, you know, nice together. And guys, when I go through my haircut, I always do the beard while I'm on one side of the head just to make it go faster, right? That'll help you speed up your time during haircuts. I know when I first started, it used to take me an hour and a half. It was horrible. People, you could just see their facial expression. They wanted to get out my chair because they've been sitting there so long. I do this to make sure, you know, the process is faster. I don't have to go back to it. You know, the clipper's already in hand. Just do it. But next, I go in with my one guard open. And I'm using the corner to set this guideline in, because I'm not gonna say I want to blend it into the top, but I don't want to make it harsh, right? You'll see later down the line I do clipper over comb to blend into the top, but I always use the corner around this part. Like, so for instance, when I set my first guideline in with my lever open, I use the full blade. I don't have time to just, you know, corner the whole thing. I use the full blade. But when I go through my guideline with my one guard lever open, I always use the corner just to make sure I'm safe, right? So I don't want to go too high, or there may be a certain hair that I want to leave there, whatever. You'll get the point if you're experienced. But that's why I use the corner to set the line in by the hairline specifically. And then once I get further towards the back, I'll go in with my full blade, just because I got more room to work with. But always when I'm by that hairline, I use the corner of my blade. Sometimes it may look like I'm using a full blade, but I'm not, I promise. And like you seen earlier, I use clipper over comb with the guard on. That's a good technique you could take from me as well. I learned that from a barber I met out in Charlotte, and it works wonders for me. I do clipper over comb with the guard. Sometimes I do it without a guard. It all depends on the situation, but I would say use it with a guard when you're dealing with a lot of bulk, right? And when you're dealing with a lot of bulk, it's safer, and you don't have to worry about taking too much hair off because you got a guard on it, right? And your comb is also a guard. That's why it's called a comb attachment. Also, while you guys are doing your fading steps, this isn't a tutorial, by the way, but I'm just going to give y'all little tips and tricks while we go along, so the video not boring. But when you guys are doing your fade, you can see I used the corner of my blade when I had the one guard on it and it was closed. Now I'm in here with my 0.5 guard. This is the Babyliss Premium guard. I swear to God, this is the greatest 0.5 guard. Next to the end is zero guard, and you know which zero guard I'm talking about. This is the closest thing to that in my opinion, and I just love this 0.5 guard. But I'm always using the corners and detailing as I go along. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I really did have a lot of trouble doing this fade for some reason. Like, it took me a decently long time. Granted, this was my first appointment in the morning. It was like 8-9 a.m. But I don't know what was like so difficult about it for me. But y'all can see I keep going back to the same spots and, you know, going through my lever, playing with it a little bit just to see where it's at. I always start, when I go with my 0.5, I always start with it halfway, and then I move to close if I need it, because sometimes, especially with a wavy texture like his, the line will go away, or the dark spot will go away with just the lever halfway instead of being fully closed. But I believe I had to use it fully closed in this haircut. Then I go in with my 2 guard closed, I believe. Yeah, my 2 guard closed. And you can see I'm moving slow and I'm flicking out. And a lot of the times I'll see what some barbers, mostly beginner barbers, they'll stop with the teeth on the comb attachment, right? You don't want to stop at the teeth of the comb attachment. You see how the teeth of the comb attachment is going into the top of his hair? That's because that's not what's cutting the hair, right? Your brain kind of creates an illusion that that's what's cutting the hair, and it's not. You have to look through those teeth and actually make sure that the hair is hitting the clipper rate, or the cutting. I can't talk today, YouTube. I'm sorry. But you have to wait until the hair hits the teeth on the cutting blade of the clipper and not the guard. And also you can see here, once again, I'm using clipper over comb with the guard on. I told you guys, I swear by this. It is a great technique. You guys should try it. I'm going to go in and do some scissor work up top. Not scissor work. I'm going to do some shear work up top and blend it all together. But for now, that helps me to make, how can I say, carve out what my end product is going to be in my fade. Alright guys, now I'm gonna go in with my one guard open and just retouch that line where I did my two guard closed, just to make sure it's fluid and it's blending together. And you guys will see this fade will come out pretty gradient. Alright, now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna line up the C cups, and I lined up the C cups just to help me see the fade better so I could go back to detailing it. You guys should try it out. It's a good technique, just to, you know, see the end product of your fade and refresh your eyes a little bit. You don't want to constantly look at the same thing every time. I don't know why I'm stuttering, y'all. Forgive me. All right, as we get into the back, y'all see I'm resetting a new guideline, and I always make it lower on purpose, and I'll tell you why. As y'all can see, I already did the right side, and I made the guideline lower on purpose because you never know how much room you're going to need. I didn't need a lot, so I just brought it up, but I do the right side first, so when I bring it together, I can make sure that my fade is symmetrical. A lot of the times you'll see the left side of the fade looks different from the right side of the fade, and it's not symmetrical. I'm keen to symmetry, right? Everybody likes symmetry. Every human on this planet is like naturally drawing your attention. But this is the same steps. We're not going to talk about that. I already showed y'all that on the other side. I was just explaining to you why I do the back last, and you'll see throughout this process that I constantly go back from the left to the right side of the fade to make sure everything's even and it flows nice. Alright, as you guys can see, I went in with shear over comb just to soften up that blend. And you guys need to add this into your arsenal. It's an important tool. I wasn't always, the best with little techniques like this. Like, I've always been good with my shears and straight hair. But little techniques like this, it took a lot of patience and building my barber eye to be able to see things that, others may not be able to see. here I'm gonna go in with my shear and point cut little dark spots that I see and just start attacking them. I don't want my fade disrupted. I'm trying to get it very gradient and, you know, flow together as much as possible. And this is the one technique that helps me a lot, right? This ain't also using my thinning shears at the ridge to soften it up. Now I sped this part up, but this is just me cutting the top. If you guys want an in-depth video on how I cut the top in shear work, I'm really good at it, and I'll make a video that specializes in it. Just comment down below and let me know what you guys want to see. Other than that, I'll let you guys finish watching this and I'll come back to you later. Now I just go in and apply my shaving gel, and the razor has always been my best attribute as a barber, and it's one of the most therapeutic things to me. I started off, the first thing I ever learned how to use in this industry was my razor, and that's what started this game, and that's what's gonna finish it for me. But this is just clockwork, guys. You guys, I'm sure you know how to do this. If not, I'll help you with your angles and how to hold your razor blade and things like that. And you guys need to go to barber school. I'm really giving y'all game for free, but I do this because when I was growing up learning how to cut hair and I was in YouTube University, I hated the way that some of these YouTubers would explain their haircuts. It was never in depth. And if you guys want that, I will provide that for y'all, and I'll do it the right way, or at least how I want it to be taught. I'll try to translate that to y'all. guys can see here, there's very little redness after I do my razor work. Make sure you're keen to that and you're holding your blades correctly. But this is how he came in. This is the before, very hairy. It was long, he needed a change, and boom, this is the after. You guys let me know how I did in the comments below. Please tell me what kind of content you guys want to see in the future. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I hope y'all are too. I love y'all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.